Okay, this bathroom is one of the worst mistakes I have seen recently on installation of tile and pan. As you can tell, the wall looks pretty good. I like the tile. I like the grout color that matches well. Little niches I'm not too fond of for a couple reasons. One, they're off center. Two, they're too small. I would have put a larger one over there to extend almost wall to wall. But anyway, as you can see, it was half taken out, not half, about a third was taken out at the bottom by the owner, because when this guy came in, he took out a tub. It was one of those marble type tubs from this area right here. This is where the plumbing was for the tub. And he took this out. The customer had an idea to build a 4x4 shower, which is a really great idea, makes a lot of room of it. But this guy supposedly could do tile and supposedly could do plumbing. But as you can tell, he did those holes because the old holes were right there. And he did the holes really close together and brought up the fixture, the valve, to there. I'm not wild about that at all. There was no escutcheon that was put in there. Usually it's a circular escutcheon as opposed to square like that. So with any hope, the escutcheon will still fit on there. I guess it did before when the entire thing was done. But I wouldn't have done those pipes this way. That's just kind of raggedy. In addition to that, although the tile was put in, it looks like succinctly, it really wasn't. You can tell where the offset on the lines were. It's probably a good 1/4 inch, and it keeps on continuing up until there's almost 1/2 inch of offset on the tile, which there's no reason for this because this is not a man-made tile. This was honed all evenly, so it should have been set evenly. But anyway, with all the grout color and everything, it probably would blend in. Not too much noticeable difference. The biggest deal on this was that apparently when he put the pan down, he put hardy-backer board on top of the plywood, which is kind of redundant. You've already got the plywood on there. It's going to hold. It held a lot of weight before, so that's not a big issue. But he used the hardy-backer board as the pan. In other words, he didn't put a membrane down there. There's no shower pan liner that was ever put down. So he poured the mortar inside of the curved area that used to be here, and thought that that would hold the water, which it didn't. You know, obviously there's water leak because there's no pan. And so all things being equal, it was just a real shoddy job that I'm sure a lot of you would not be happy with. And in addition, there's no 2x6s along the wall, so that's just one of those things that I put in for extra support on the pan. But I'm going to go ahead and do the pan and put the tile back in there, red guard it, get it watertight, and then afterward put the tile back up on the wall after the 2x6s are put in, and so this one will not leak. And there we are. Okay, so since the last video, I have went ahead and poured the pan. Obviously there is the pan liner that's under there, which again wasn't there. The guy never put the pan liner. And then he poured the mortar on top of, I guess, either the plywood. I think the customer said he'd use hardy board on top of the plywood, thinking that would keep, you know, the mortar from leaking or whatever. It didn't. You know, it leaked. So put the pan in, wrapped around the curb with the pan. The customer actually bought this bench over here. It's actually a foam bench because he's concerned about leakage, you know, through that. So that foam bench actually got glued in, which I'm not fond of. I'd rather build a bench, but you know, for the $80 or whatever he spent on there, I guess it's peace of mind. Then in addition, of course, I used Lowe's version of Red Guard, which was blue when it went on, and then it turned green, you know, to let you know it dried. So I use that on the bench, and it's redundant, but you know, redundancy is good sometimes, I guess. And of course I painted the curb all the way around on both sides, so definitely won't have any leakage going on there. And the pan is dry for 2 days now, so I'm ready to tile the floor. Once the floor is done and dried, then I'll do the curb and put the wall tile back up. With any luck, I can kind of rectify this guy's mistake. He's got about maybe a 1/4 inch off. It looks a little bit more than a 1/4 inch in most spots, but it's definitely off, and there's no excuse for that. You know, these are pretty decent tile. They're all square even. So what I'm going to probably do is I'm going to cut off a 1/4 inch of the next tile that I set here all the way along this wall here, which will make this shorter, which by that time will actually fit up with the longer tile that I set on here. Not the longer, but the uncut tile. And then for the next 3 or 4 rows down, it will be even. So that's my plan, and I'm going to get started on this floor, get that tile today, and we'll be back. Alright, we're on the last day of doing the shower pan over again. Well, doing the tile anyway. The shower pan was never put in, as you saw before. So anyway, we've done the curb, as you can see. Nice little 45, sloped at about 20-25 degrees, let off water, and I went ahead and kind of fixed this area I showed before where there's a discrepancy, a little half-inch discrepancy in the tile. So what I did is I came down here and I cut these tile, this row of tile, by that 1/2 inch, which gave me nice grout lines the rest of the way down on this wall, as well as that one. So kind of fixed that. I can't do anything about what's already been done, but can't set tile like that off kilter. Anyway, did the prefab bench that's in there, and it's also sloped so the water will run off. That bench will never leak because it's foam underneath. And then of course the shower pan wraps around about 6 to 7 inches up all the way around and around the curb. And not my particular choice of tile, this rock stuff. There's a lot of grout lines there, but he's going to seal it, so it should be okay. It's just too busy for me. So that's basically it. Took about 4 days to redo this and get it back to normal again, but he's happy. Oh, this other guy didn't set the tile on the top there, so I threw those up there. And that's it. On to the next job.